Historically, my name is Damlola Ogunshakin. The first president of Nigeria, poet and prominent nationalist figure, Nnamdi Azikiwe, was born on November 16, 1904 in Zungeri, Nigeria. His first name means "my father is alive" in the Igbo language, as his parents were Igbo. As a young boy, Azikiwe spoke Hausa, the regional language. His father, concerned about his son's fluency in Hausa and not Igbo, sent him to Onitsha in 1912 to live with his paternal grandmother and aunt to learn the Igbo language and culture. In Onitsha, Azikiwe attended Holy Trinity School, a Roman Catholic mission school, and Christ Church School, an Anglican primary school. In 1920, his father was posted back to southern Nigeria in the southeastern city of Calabar. Azikiwe joined his father in Calabar, beginning tertiary education at the Opwadel Training College. After attending Opwadel, Azikiwe was transferred to Methodist Boys High School in Lagos and befriended classmates from old Lagos as George Shingo, Francis Cole, and Ade Williams, a son of the Aribo of Remo. These connections were later beneficial to his political career in Lagos. Azikiwe heard a lecture by James Aggrey, an educator who believed that Africans should receive a college education abroad and return to effect change. After the lecture, Aggrey gave the young Azikiwe a list of schools accepting black students in America. After completing his secondary education, Azikiwe applied to the colonial service and was accepted as a clerk in the Treasury Department. His time in the colonial service exposed him to racial bias in the colonial government. Determined to travel abroad for further education, Azikiwe applied to universities in the United States. He was admitted by Astoria College contingent on his finding a way to America. Azikiwe attended Storrs College, two-year preparatory school in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. To fund his living expenses and tuition, he worked a number of manual jobs before enrolling in Howard University in Washington, D.C. In 1927, to obtain a bachelor's degree in political science, Azikiwe became a graduate student instructor in the History and Political Science Department in Lincoln University, where he created a course in African history. He was a candidate for a doctoral degree at Columbia University before returning to Nigeria in 1934. By 1934, when Azikiwe returned to Lagos, he was well known and viewed as a public figure by some members of the Lagos and Igbo community. In Nigeria, Azikiwe's initial goal was to obtain a position commensurate with his education after several unsuccessful applications, including for a teaching post at King's College. He accepted an offer from Ghanaian businessman Alfred Onkanze to become founding editor of the African Money Post, a new daily newspaper in Accra, Ghana. He was given a free hand to run the newspaper and recruited many of its original staff. As editor, he promoted a pro-African nationalist agenda. Azikiwe returned to Lagos in 1937 and founded the West African Pilot, a newspaper which he used to promote nationalism in Nigeria. In addition to the Pilot, his Zik Group established newspaper in politically and economically important cities throughout the country. Before World War II, the West African Pilot was seen as a paper trying to build a circulation base rather than overtly radical. He established the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, in 1960, and Queen Elizabeth II appointed him to the Privy Council of the United Kingdom. Azikiwe became active in the Nigerian Youth Movement, NYM, the country's first nationalist organization. Although he supported Samuel Akinsoya as the NYM candidate for a vacant seat in the Legislative Council in 1941, the NYM Executive Council selected Ernest Ikoli. Azikiwe resigned from the NYM and co-founded the National Council of Nigeria and Cameroon's NCNC with Albert Macaulay in 1944. Azikiwe became Governor General on 16 November 1960 with Abubakar Tafawa Balewa as Prime Minister. When Nigeria became a republic in 1963, he was its first president. In both posts, Azikiwe's role was largely ceremonial. He and his civilian colleagues were kicked from office in the 15 January 1966 military coup, and he was the most prominent politician to avoid assassination after the coup. Azikiwe died aged 91 on 11 May 1966 at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital in Enugu after a long illness, and he is buried in his native Onitsha. There are several places named after him, including the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe University in Awka, Anambra State. His portrait adorns Nigeria's 500 naira currency notes. Rest in peace, Nnamdi Azikiwe. Chinua Achebe was born on 16 November 1930 and baptized as Albert Chinua Achebe. Storytelling was a mainstay of the Igbo tradition and integral part of the community. Achebe's mother and sister, Zenobia, told him many stories as a child, which he repeatedly requested. In 1948, Nigeria's first university opened in preparation for the country's independence. Known as University College, now the University of Ibadan, it was an associate college of the University of London. Achebe was admitted as the university's first intake and given a bursary to study medicine. He decided to become a writer after reading Mr. Johnson by Joyce Carey because of the book's portrayal of its Nigerian character as either savages or buffoons. Achebe recognized his dislike for the African protagonist as a sign of the author's cultural ignorance. He abandoned medicine to study English, history, and theology, a switch which lost him his scholarship and required extra tuition fees. To compensate, the government provided a bursary and his family donated money. His elder brother, Augustine, gave up money for a trip from his job as a civil servant so Achebe could continue his studies. In 1956, Achebe was selected to attend the Staff Training School for the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC. His first trip outside Nigeria was an opportunity to advance his technical production skills and to solicit feedback on his novel, which was later split into 2 books. Back in Nigeria, Achebe set to work revising and editing his novel. He titled it Things Fall Apart, after a line in the poem The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats. He cut away the second and third section of the book, leaving only the story of a yam farmer named Okoye, who lives during the colonization of Nigeria and struggles with his father's debtor legacy. In 1957, he sent his only copy of his handwritten manuscript to a London manuscript typing service. He did not receive a reply from the typing service, so he asked his boss at the NBS, Angela, to revisit the company during the travels to London. She did and angrily demanded to know why the manuscript was lying ignored in the corner of the office. The company quickly sent a typed copy to Achebe. Angela's intervention was crucial for his ability to continue as a writer. The next year, Achebe sent his novel to the agent recommended by Gilbert Phelps in London. It was sent to several publishing houses. Some rejected it immediately, claiming that fiction from American writers had no market potential. The executive at Inman read the manuscript and hesitated in decision to publish the book. Inman later published 2,000 hardcover copies of Things Fall Apart on 17 June 1958. When Things Fall Apart was published in 1958, Achebe was promoted at the NBS and put in charge of the network Eastern Region coverage. In 1966, Achebe published his first children's book, Chike and the River. Achebe was awarded the International Booker Prize in June 2007. The award helped correct what many perceived as a great injustice to African literature, that the founding father of African literature had not won some of the key international prizes. In 2010, Achebe was awarded the Dorothy and Lillian Gish Prize for $300,000, one of the richest prizes for the arts. Achebe died after a short illness on 21st March 2013 in Boston, United States. He was buried in his hometown of Ogidi. Rest in peace, Chinua Achebe. Okoye was born on 16 November 1980. Oge is a Nigerian actress from Nnewi in Anambra State. Okoye was born in London and later moved to live in Lagos with her family. She completed her primary school in London after moving to Nigeria. After returning to Nigeria, she attended University Primary School, Enugu, and moved on to the Holy Rosary College, Enugu, for her secondary school. Okoye graduated from the Nnamdi Azikiwe University with a degree in theatre arts. Okoye joined the Nigerian film industry known as Nollywood in 2001. She came to limelight in 2002 after performing in the film Spanner, where she starred with Chinedu Ikezie, popularly known as Aki, in the Nigerian film industry. She married her longtime boyfriend Stanley Duru in 2005 and had 2 kids. She separated from her husband in 2012. In 2006, she was nominated for the African Movie Academy Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role for her performance in the movie Eagle's Pride. Happy birthday, Okoye. Obinna Nwafor, popularly known as Saint Obi, was born on November 16, 1965. He is a Nigerian actor, film producer, and film director. He majored in theatre art at the University of Jos. In 2001, Saint Obi produced his first movie titled Take Me to Mama, where he starred as Jerry alongside Ebisam, Rachel Oniga, Nte Abel, and Enebeli Elebua. Saint Obi is known for his roles in Candlelight, Sakobi, Goodbye Tomorrow, Art of Gold, Festival of Fire, Executive Crime, and last party. Happy birthday, Centobi. That's all on the show today. Remember to follow us on all our social media platforms to stay up to date on happenings around you. I am Damlola Ogunshakin. It's bye.